Hey, everybody. On the show today, I'm super excited. I have Rachel Slotnick, who is the owner of Mindstrong Fitness, and she's one of our very own tribe mentors in the Tribe of Leaders membership community. She is an expert in all things health and wellness, and she says what sets her soul on fire is being able to help people unleash their most badass selves. We had so much fun talking, and one of the things that made me laugh, but it was so true, about the blue elephant and how that can undo everything for you. Check it out. My name is Emmy Kirshner. I'm a serial entrepreneur and investor. The one thing that I get asked all the time is, how do you achieve success in business and make an impact? In each episode of the Tribe of Leaders podcast, you'll hear from entrepreneurs and visionaries who share how their leadership has changed not only their lives, but the lives of everybody around them. Hey, everybody. I'm with Rachel today, and I'm super excited to have you on the show. Tell everybody a little bit about who you are and your background and where Mindstrong came from.
Awesome. So first of all, thanks for having me, because I am pumped to do this with you. You know, I'm a huge fan, and from our first conversation about what you're doing with the tribe, I was sold. I'm in.
Yeah.
So my company is called Mindstrong Fitness, and you know, when I started this company, I was a middle school teacher, and I always like to joke, like, there's no questioning why going to the gym after work became my release, right? You teach middle school.
That's like, I mean, having raised two boys who are now in their late teens, well, I'm 120 actually, like that 7th, 8th grade years are like the hardest ever.
You have to teach middle school, like, you have to love what you do, because if you're not, you're going to be a miserable human being.
Like, kudos to you. And I'm sure that all of the parents, you know, whose students you've had, like, they're saying, thank you, Rachel.
Well, the running joke with my kids is that we get along because my sense of humor never developed past that age of like 13, 14. So that's kind of our bonding moment.
Right.
So what happened was I got into training just on my own. Like, I was going through some life transitions, and a friend of mine took me to the gym with her. And I would say it was like meeting the best friend of your best friend when you're like, how have we never met before? You know, that's my relationship with the gym. So I had been training for maybe a year, 2 years. I had a lot of teacher friends who, you know, teachers are notoriously overworked and underpaid. Like, they put everyone first except for themselves. Mm-hmm. So I would hear the same things, like, I feel stuck. I know I'm not making myself a priority. My energy is crap. Like, I don't feel like I used to. There was a lot of I just had a kid, but that kid's 6 years old, you know, and they feel stuck was the big thing I kept hearing.
Right.
So just for fun, I was like, listen, I go to the gym every day after work anyway. Why don't you come with me? I'll just show you some stuff. Because a lot of, especially women, are intimidated by the gym, because it's all these it's like big gunky guys that are like,
what do I do with this stuff? Am I going to fall over?
Yes. And they always say things like, I'm afraid someone's going to make a gym meme out of me, like secretly videotaping me. So I started taking friends to the gym just for fun. Like, I was going anyway, I'll show you some stuff. And the feedback that I heard was like, the thing I got out of teaching was never the subject matter. I was a music teacher because my background's in music, but I loved the human part of it, of finding kids at that awkward age and helping put them on a good path. Right. And what I found when I started training my friends is that they just unleashed, is always the word I use. Like, they would come back to me and be like, oh my God, like, suddenly I feel like a better spouse or a better parent or even a better teacher, because I just feel so much better about myself. And for me, like, that's it. Like, that's what I was put on this earth to do, to help people tap into that thing that just unleashes their life. So it was kind of an organic thing. Like, then I started taking on some clients, and then I realized, like, I don't want to do it on a smaller scale as just a personal trainer. I want to get this out to everyone, regardless of location. So then I started my online company, and Mindstrong was born from that.
That's amazing.
I love it.
Was it ever scary to be like, oh my God, I'm actually like starting a company from something that was a hobby?
It wasn't, because feels like a lifetime ago, but when I lived in New York City, I was a freelance musician for about 10 years, which is kind of like a different life. But back then I started a nonprofit organization, which is like owning a business times 10, because then you're dealing with the nonprofit fundraising side in addition to a business. So I knew how to do it. For me, it was more the mental side. Like, I had gone through this phase where I was like, I will never own a business again, because I know how life consuming it can get.
Right.
And I thought I didn't want to do that. But then just kind of side note, bigger life statement, when I really did some personal digging deep, that was a fear-based thing. It wasn't about the time. It was about, putting yourself out there and putting your all into your baby and then not knowing what's going to happen with it. And once I got past that personal stuff and those fear blocks, then no, it was just, to me, like my soul was on fire doing this work. That's the only way I can describe it.
That's amazing. I love it. And I love that feeling. I know exactly what you mean by your soul on fire, right? It's like, because you're in a similar boat as I am, where you really get to make a deep impact with people and change their lives completely.
Mm-hmm. Yes. And there's nothing better. People ask, what is the meaning of life? Like, to me, this is the meaning of life. It's helping other people live their best life. Like, to me, that's what it's about. And when you get to do that every day, it's incredible. There's nothing better than that.
Yeah. So did you have to go and get some formal training too? Or was it just that you've become so knowledgeable that you're able to help people with where they're at and then help them move forward with the physical training?
Actually, funny enough, in the way the universe likes to work, unbeknownst to us, when I got into training, I was a very nerdy kid. When I was a kid, my parents were very big on school. C's were not allowed in our household.
Right.
So due to that nerdy drive, I decided when I got into training, I wanted to know more about it. I wanted to understand the nutrition side. I wanted to understand what was actually happening in my body. So the more I looked into it, I was like, you know what? I'm doing this anyway for fun. This was long, long before Mindstrong was even a twinkle in my eye. Right. I was like, if I'm going to put the time into it, why don't I just get my certification? Because it was, it's a few $100. It would kind of lay everything out in a structured way, which my mind likes, my logical side. So I got my certification with absolutely no intention of ever using it. I just got certified through the National Academy of Sports Medicine, which is the toughest test you can take, because I figured if you're going to do it, why not do it? So I had my certification, so that was already set. And then from there, I just found topics that interested me and then dug deeper. I'm really into the nutrition side of this because I feel like there's so much, pardon my French, bullshit on the market when it comes to nutrition. Yeah. Yeah. So the teacher in me wanted to be able to explain this to people. I don't want to sell someone a product. I want to teach them the knowledge of how to use it. When you buy my service, you're not buying a product, you're buying the teacher in me who's going to explain it to you.
When I was health coaching was so helpful. People, once you explained, if you just do this, this, and this, because this is what's going to happen in your body, they'll do it.
Right. Yes. Because what happens is when they buy into these systems, they don't know why it's working. And then they're stuck with that for the rest of your life.
Well, and it's just, it's boring.
It's boring, yes. And it's, to me, it's frustrating to watch people say well, I can only eat these frozen dinners. And I'm like, have you ever stopped to think about why? Why do you need to do that? Let me explain to you what those frozen dinners are doing so you can go do it on your own.
Right.
So then I got other certifications in nutrition and things like that because it just interested me / infuriated me to watch people get scammed like that. But the certification was just one of those funny things where I look back and I'm like, thanks, universe, for, putting that idea in my head before I knew where it's leading.
Before you even had hey, come hang out with me and go to the gym with me, you already had everything that you needed to really be super knowledgeable. And that's incredible. I love it.
Isn't that crazy, right? When you look back and you think, it's like the universe knew where I was headed before I did.
Right. Yeah. Well, that's always the case.
Right. I was going to say bigger life statement.
Yeah. So let's talk about Mindstrong and some of the things you offer now and how that's impacting, your people and everybody who follows you, because you have some really cool stuff that anybody anywhere can access.
Yeah. So, logistically what we do, and then I'll dig a little deeper into what's different about it. Logistically, what we do is we do online coaching. So we have a 12-week online program where it's not just some cookie cutter thing. My whole thing is that if the only thing you needed was to know how to work out, you don't need me. You could go on YouTube. There's millions of videos to watch that. But there's two things you need. One, you need not just accountability, but you need a partner by your side. And if I can't be physically by your side, I'm going to be there as much as I can. So all the workouts we do with online clients, you get links to videos of me actually teaching you how to do each exercise and what form cues to watch out for. And then there's a big accountability factor in that we do weekly Skype, so we get as much face-to-face time as possible. My clients get unlimited access to me through an app called Voxer, where you can not just text, but we can also send voice memos. So it's like I'm there in the gym with it without being in the gym, so I can serve people all over the country. But
I love it too, because you can really be kind of on call.
Exactly. That's exactly what it is. I mean, I have clients they'll send me videos and be like, hey, I'm doing this and I'm feeling this here instead of here. Is that right? And I can send them a video right back and be like, make sure you're watching for this. And it's great. Like we live in such a technology world right now that you don't need your trainer in the gym with you to still get the effects of it.
Right. Right. Well, and particularly at your level of knowledge, like you can just see where people may be a little bit out of alignment or not lifting quite the right way.
Right, exactly. And just the teaching background is clutch because, so many, not to bash other trainers, but so many, it's like when I was a musician, you'd find people who were awesome performers, but that didn't mean they could teach, right? So in the fitness world, there's these people who are ripped as hell, but when you try to explain what to do, it's like, what now? So I think teaching middle school, yes, exactly. So when you teach middle school, you have to learn to be very clear and right to the point and be comfortable repeating yourself 12,000 times because that's all teaching is.
Go sharpen your pencil.
Yes. I used to always tell my kids, you don't need a teacher. You need a little tape recorder that just plays on a loop. But the big thing we do, like my big thing when I started Mindstrong, which is where our name came from actually, is I was like, you know what, the thing is the world doesn't need another fitness company. There's a million fitness companies, there's a million trainers, but there's this vital piece that was missing. And this is what I got from taking my teacher friends to the gym with me. The thing holding them back, they thought was just not being comfortable in the gym. And that's maybe 5% of it. Like part of it is, just getting comfortable, but that's the easy part. The thing that I found was holding people back is all about their thoughts. And this is bigger life statement, right? Like it's with me starting my business. It had nothing to do with the logistics of the business. It's about the thoughts and the stories you're telling yourself up here. And what I found is that the thing stopping people from getting into the gym and making those changes was all mental. It's the stories they tell themselves of, who are you kidding? You've always been overweight and this is genetic. Your whole family's overweight. Who are you to think you're going to be any different? You've started 10 times before and failed. Why is this time going to be any different?
It's going to take me 3 hours to make, a teeny little bit of difference. And I'm going to have to go 7 days a week. And
it's all those stories. So part of what we do in addition to the workouts and the nutrition piece is we actually do exercises. So each week when my clients get their workout templates and their nutrition plans, they also get mind training tools, which is all about identifying those stories, hearing that voice, getting it on paper to find the patterns of what's holding you back, and then rewriting them. And to me, I feel like that is a vital piece of health and fitness that's missing. Mm-hmm. And I really believe that's, the world is heading in such a yoga holistic way, some parts of the world, that I think that's going to be where health and fitness is headed because it works.
Right. Absolutely. And I totally agree with you. I mean, you know what I've been creating with the Tribe of Leaders membership community, and it's that holistic piece. And as a tribe mentor, having you in there to help guide people is so crucial because not only is it the mindset, but they've got to be moving.
Yes.
And entrepreneurs are, I think, the first ones who are like, I totally don't have time. I'm nose to the grindstone. And it really affects their productivity and their performance overall.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really, really important.
I just had that conversation with them. I was doing an interview with Badassery magazine, and the owner, Samantha, was saying the same thing. She's like, I think you need to do an Ignite online program for entrepreneurs. I was like, that's a great idea. Yeah. But she was saying she did the same thing. Like the second she started her business, it's everything else goes to the back burner, including my health. And she found when she started working out, it only helps your business, right? It helps you as a parent. It helps you as a spouse. It helps you as a business owner, because when you feel better, it comes out in every single thing you do.
Right. You have to fuel your body.
Yes, 100%. It's so funny you said that, because we have a nutrition course coming out and it's called Fuel Your Body. Perfect. That was a perfect plug. Thank you.
I love it. When is it coming out?
We haven't done, actually, we're just in the baby stages of the launch, but it'll be officially launched in March. You're actually the first person that I'm talking to about this. It was all behind the scenes until now, but it's going to be 100% online. So it's an online course where once you log in, it's yours. So you go, you watch the modules, you rewatch them, you take notes. There's downloadables. There's the whole shebang.
That's amazing. That's awesome.
Yeah,
and let's get the link and we'll put it in the show notes.
Awesome.
Yeah, definitely. So let's circle back to you inviting your teacher or your teacher friends to come to the gym with you, because that's a huge leadership moment, right? Like it's not just standing by, and it'd be so easy. Like, I'm going to the gym, see you later. I hear you complaining, yada, yada, yada. You really invited them to step up. And What was that like for you? Just from the perspective of, were they really excited to be there with you once you kind of allayed some of their fears, or?
Yeah, I think the best part was, I mean, for me, it was also fun because now I had like some of my good teacher friends working out with me, and we'd like talk about it, and I'd kind of like, dig in a little bit at work. Like, did you train today? But the best part was watching them do it on their own. It's like when you teach kids and suddenly, they send you a video of them practicing their instrument at home by themselves, and you're like, yes, it's stuck. So when they would text me like on a weekend and be like, it would be a picture of them with their kid or them with their spouse, and they'd be at the gym without me, then I was like that proud mama moment, like, oh, right. this stuck.
Success.
But this, I mean, the same way you and I keep saying, like when this is work that sets your soul on fire, it's not even work. So I got the best of both worlds. Like I had my friends training with me. I got to hear their feedback of how awesome they feel. And then I got to watch them go run with it. And it was just like taking your hands off your kid's bike and watching them go. Like there's nothing better than that.
Yeah, I love that. Because it is that proud moment. That's the part of I think the leadership piece. And for me, like leadership is really the same thing as kind of parenting, in that, you're inspiring and teaching and sharing all these, all of your knowledge and wisdom with two small people, in my case, a classroom of small people, multiple classrooms too. And what's next for you as you're starting to grow, in addition to the nutritional course, of course, yeah. But what's next for you with Mindstrong? Like, what's your big vision?
So what we have coming up next in terms of programs, our last launch that we just did. So we started thinking about who are the people who most need a drastic change right now. So the first idea that came up, which has been really successful so far, is brides. Like when you're about to get married, your world is a shit show, planning a wedding and taking on these new roles of wife and daughter-in-law and all this stuff. So we launched a bridal program, which has been great. It's the same idea of a 12-week online program, but it's directed to get brides not just into their wedding dress. Of course, that's a big thing. Like they want to look smoking hot in their dress.
Right.
But it's more about the empowerment piece, like feeling confident, walking down the aisle, walking into their new life. We're going to be launching, this is not a launch that's in the works yet, but the second idea that came up was new moms, because talk about people who their world does not revolve around them anymore.
Yeah.
And at some point they look back and like those teacher friends who are like, I just had a kid, but now your kid is, 3, 4, 5, 6 years old. Like they're like, how did this happen? How did I get here? So we're going to be launching a program for moms a little bit down the line. And then something I'm just kind of toying with, which I'm just going to say out loud because we've been talking so much about it, is I find myself, especially like in talking to people in interviews like this, my roots keep going back to my teacher days, because to me, there is no one in this universe that I believe in the trickle down effect, right? So if I feel good about myself and I'm feeling confident, I'm feeling strong, when I walk in and I talk to a classroom of kids, the way I show up is how they're going to perceive me, and it's how they're going to feed off me, right? The reason kids bond with certain teachers has nothing to do with how they teach. It has to do with their connection to them. So I keep coming back to the fact that the more teachers I can help, it's like I'm still teaching the kids without actually being in the classroom. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I love that. Please do that.
So I'm toying with the idea of doing a teacher-based thing where understanding how underpaid teachers are, because I lived it for a long time, doing something to help teachers out so they can get access to the program without the full cost, and understanding the trickle-down effect that could cause. So at some point, I'm going to go back to my roots and do something for teachers.
I love that. Because I know here, like I've had the opportunity to speak at both the middle school and the high school.
Oh, that's awesome.
And actually both high schools here. And there's just a sense of tiredness that I pick up. And, a lot of the teachers have been there for 10, 15 years, which is awesome, but they're also teaching kind of the same material over and over and over again. There's not anything new or super revolutionary or evolutionary coming into them other than like smart boards.
Yeah.
And that's great.
Right.
I think it's easy to, because of that though, but I think it's easy to kind of fall into the routine of just like, this is what I'm doing and this is great. And I'm making a difference with these kids, but it's similar to parenting in that they're not really taking care of themselves.
100%. 100%. And that, I mean, they can have all the love in the world for their kids, but if they are burned out, which 98% of teachers are, that's how they show up for their kids every day. Yeah. And that's going to be reflected. They could be the best teacher in the world, but if you're burned out, that's how you're showing up.
Right.
So I really believe in my gut that somewhere that Mindstrong is going to do something to give back to the education world by helping teachers and then understanding the trickle down effect to the students.
I love it. Love it. That's awesome. Awesome.
I'm excited about it. The second, I don't know. The more interviews I do, I just always go back to my teaching days, because that's where the company started. Like that, it wouldn't be here if it wasn't for that. So.
Well, and I think from a leadership perspective, and I, believe this in my own business too, it's really about making impact, and it's really about having that trickle down effect.
Yes.
Right. And what a great way. Impact teachers, impact kids, and directly they'll impact their parents because they're changing as well. So you've got a big vision. I love it.
Thank you.
I love it. Revolutionizing the fitness world, right? And particularly even with the brides too, it's really just like, I know a lot of brides who, and I'm sure you've seen it, where it's like, oh, I just got to get into the dress, and then they lose weight or they do whatever they need to do for the dress, and then they don't have the skills and tools to stay that way.
Exactly. And that's brides, that's everyone. That goes back to what we were saying about point systems. If you don't understand why it works, then once you're done, you're done. Like if I were selling you on a system, then once you don't have me when those 12 weeks are over, that's why people gain weight back, right? There's two reasons people gain weight back. One, because they don't know why it works, so they're relying on this. Yeah. And two, most diets are working off restriction only. Like most diets tell you don't eat this, this, and this, right? And my go-to line is always, well, don't think about a blue elephant. Like your mind does not want restriction, and it's not sustainable. So the whole nutrition piece to this is about not only learning to make healthier choices, but understanding why those are healthier choices. So it's not even me saying, here's a list of foods to eat, here's a list of foods to not eat. Because what if you don't like those foods? Or what if you get sick of them? It's more, this is what to look for in your food. Now go eat whatever the hell you want, just to understand how they fit in your goals.
Right. I love that. Thank you so much for saying. I knew we were aligned for a reason.
Yes, the blue elephant is always clutch, because it's true. Like you tell it, and my running joke is always about my middle schoolers. Like, they get a bad rap for wanting to do what they're not supposed to. But the truth is that's how the human mind works. It wants to do what you tell it not to. Yeah,
well, of course.
Yeah.
Particularly a middle schooler. So I'm going to put you on the spot.
Okay.
And I'm going to ask you, like, who is one leader that you really look up to or follow that you would want to share, and just why you like that person?
I've got two that come to mind right away.
Share both then.
Okay. One is not on social media, so it's not someone I can refer you to, but he's my personal mentor, life mentor. Okay. So I'll tell you the quick story. When I was in 7th grade, we're going way back, I had been doing music for a few years, and I absolutely hated it. I hated everything about it. I hated playing my instrument. I hated practicing. And my parents convinced me to stay one more year because we were getting a new music teacher. And Danny Lieberman walked in, and he was interesting because his background wasn't as a music teacher. He used to be the president of the international branch of the Make-A-Wish Foundation.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, totally. So you can imagine the heart on this man. So his whole concept to music was the whole reason that I became a musician, the whole reason I became a teacher. His slogan, ironically, was "It's not about the music." And he used to do things like take a group of 80 middle schoolers to Europe for 2 weeks at a time, which, you have kids, so you can understand what that was like.
Yeah. Wow.
Right. But we would actually, at that age, we would perform at the bedside of terminally ill children. And we would just do these things that transform you as a human being and show you what music is about. It's not about the practicing and the scales and all that. It's about the giving back. Mm-hmm. And that idea, it changed who I was. That's what got me into music. That's what got me into teaching. And now that fitness is my area of expertise, it's the same thing. It's not about the exercise. It's about the behind the scenes. It's about the feeling. So to this day, Danny Lieberman he's like my second dad. He's my mentor. I go to him for everything. His wife helped me buy my house. They're family to me.
That's amazing. And that's so great and so key to have. And I think, just having mentors in your circle of, people that you're relying on your life team, as I call it, is so crucial. So
100%.
And it's really cool that you've kept in touch with him all these years.
Oh yeah. But when I was teaching, he used to actually come in and he would help my kids now and then. But now that I've moved to San Francisco, he's on the favorites in my phone, and he's my go-to.
Yeah. Awesome. I love that. And who's the other person?
The second one is Tracy Litt, and she is all over social media. Her business is called The Lit Factor.
Okay.
And Tracy was my life coach for a while, in terms of that's when I officially worked with her, but she's still my go-to for this stuff. And it's funny because I knew Tracy before the Lit Factor was a thing. She's actually the sister of one of my really close friends. And she was always the person that we all went to anyway. Like, she was doing her job before it was her job. You know what I mean?
As most coaches, and even as you were. Yeah.
Exactly. That's exactly what it was. So when you had an issue, you went and you had a Tracy talk. You went on the patio and you talked to Tracy, and now Tracy Talks are part of her company. She's key for choice. Like, her whole thing is choice. You get to choose how you feel. You get to choose how you wake up every day. You get to choose how you react. And it's all this stuff that a lot of us know, but she just has a way of making it simple. Like, yeah, I remember once in a session, she had me actually stand up and walk around. She's like, you can look at it from that view, or we can just take a little walk into the room and look at it this way and look at it from this side. And I was like, it's so simple, but
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So Tracy Litt at the Lit Factor is more of my like current hands-on go-to.
Okay. Very cool. I like that. Yeah. Very different. I was expecting you to say somebody like really like Oprah big or
no, more personal. I've never been one for like
the giant
big heroes, like there's people I admire, like Martin Luther King Jr. is the person I'd like to have dinner with when you play who would you like to have dinner with? And my grandpa. But I've never I don't know, because I'm not a big put people on a pedestal type of person. I understand that each of us have features that I admire and I might strive to be more like. But we're all human and we've all got our shit that, we carry around with us and we work on.
Exactly. And it's just about evolving. At least it is for me.
100%.
Yeah. It's so cool. I'm so glad that we were able to connect and to have you on the show today, because it's been so much fun talking with you.
Yes.
Share with everybody where they can connect with you.
Of course. So our website is mindstrongfitness.com. And Ignite is our online program. So if you go on the website, it's right there, online coaching. On Facebook, we're Mindstrong Fitness. Heads up, there are 2 Mindstrong Fitnesses. We're working on that because our trademark is going through soon. One has a big old picture of a girl's butt. That is not us.
Yeah, no.
That's why we're working on it. You'll see my face, Mindstrong Fitness, on Facebook. And on Instagram, we are at Get Mindstrong. And I'll send you the link for the online nutrition course. Going to be launching officially in March, but I'll get you the link to that when it's up. It's going to be. You want to share
a little bit more about it, just so if people are interested, they have a bit more detail?
Absolutely. So in the beginning, normally I try to leave price out of it because it's invaluable. Like, this is stuff that will literally change your life. But my goal, out of just sheer, I guess, frustration at the BS out there, is just to get it out there. So our launching price is going to be $59 for this class, which is my goal was, how can I make this as no brainer as possible? There it is. But it's a completely online class. So when you sign up, it's through Teachable. So you have total access online indefinitely. It's 5 modules. So it's video modules where it's me taking you through and teaching you everything from what are macronutrients and why do you need all of them? And how do I read nutrition labels to know how to pick food for my goals?
Right.
And it has downloadables to make food shopping easier, little cheat sheets. But again, all of it is not just here, eat these foods. It's use this cheat sheet so you understand some staples, but here's why they're staples. Let's look at the foods on this to understand why.
Right.
And then we get into food portioning. If your goal is to lose fat, here's quick and easy ways to adjust your eating for that. If your goal is to gain, because some people are underweight and want to gain, we teach you how to do that. We get into a little bit of actually mindful eating, which I joke about in there because I used to think it was hippies and unicorns and rainbows.
You used to give people chopsticks because you can't eat too fast.
Right. Yes. And then beyond that, it's even the big takeaway from mindful eating I got was noticing your patterns. I think it's the teacher in me. I love patterns. So when you start jotting down quick little notes of between 8 and 10 p.m., I tend to crave this food. Then when you go food shopping, you can start making healthier swaps, knowing 9 p.m. I'm going to crave something salty. So what can I go buy instead of potato chips to fill that crave, So little hits like that we cover.
Okay.
And then, like I said, there's downloadables. And throughout the course, people always have me on email. So it's not like you download this course and it's some big business that disappears. It's always me on the other end.
Right. So there's support.
100%.
or if somebody has a question. That is amazing. So I'm just going to say, people go do that.
Yes, it really is. I mean, it's not me selling my business. This is me being passionate about this. It will change your life because people spend their entire life in such an unhealthy loop with food of trying to live off restriction and then feeling guilty when they cave. And then they'll spend their entire life like this. And this is literally handing you every single tool you need to change that relationship.
And you know what? You cannot be unleashed and live in your full potential if you feel guilty about anything.
Yes, 100%. And if you're not fueling your body to have maximum energy, because your energy calories are measured in energy. Right. So what you eat is literally giving you the energy you need for your day. So if you're feeling sluggish all day, you are not showing up as your best self. And that all comes back to the food you're eating.
Awesome. I love it. Thank you so much.
Awesome. Thank you for having me. I love talking with you because we're very aligned in our mission and our thinking. It's awesome.
Well, we'll have to have you back on the podcast.
Yes, let's do it.
In the year too. So again, thank you. And thank you everybody for tuning in, and we'll see you next week. Bye. Have you ever thought about those times when if you had just known that one thing, it would have saved you hundreds, if not thousands of dollars, or maybe days, weeks, or even months of your time? I've created the Tribe of Leaders membership community for exactly that reason, to give you the tools, the resources, and the support to make growing your business a snap. As a member, you'll have access to video training, live monthly training and masterminds, and special co-working days that will help you run your business like the CEO that you are. You can get all the details at thetribeofleaders.com. See you there.